Have you been told that you could not qualify for a mortgage because of your student loans, or have you been denied of a mortgage because you have student loans? Well, today we're going to cover this issue in Lessons in Lending, so don't go anywhere. There's a great deal of confusion about a mortgage while you have student loans. And we'll run through just the typical scenarios that we see daily to show you there are ways through this process and how you may have been turned down for a loan or told that it was impossible to get a mortgage because of the route you were taking. So let's cover the first thing first. There are several lenders that purchase your loans, purchase mortgages, a few of them being Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, guaranteed loans, and VA insured loans. And so those loans all have different criteria or different underwriting guidelines that are associated with them. So if you went down one road and you were turned down, it doesn't necessarily mean all paths to a mortgage are closed for you. So let's cover a couple of them briefly. With Fannie Mae, the guidelines are we use whatever is on the credit report. So whatever mortgage or whatever payment shows on your student loans, that is the payment we use when qualifying for the mortgage. So if you have $100,000 in student debt and it shows $1,800 a month as a payment, that's the number that's used to qualify you for a mortgage. So Freddie Mac, if nothing shows up, it's the same thing. They use whatever's showing on the credit report. FHA, it's 1% of the balance. Some little tricks to the trade, if you will. If no payment shows up, a 1% of the balance is used for Fannie Mae. So the $100,000 debt, you'd have a $1,000 payment if no payment shows up. In Freddie Mac, if no payment shows up, it's 1/2 of 1% or $500 per month on that same $100,000 in student loans. Nothing about your profile has changed other than investor that it's pointed to. So there are some ways around it. Some of the more creative ways around it are through income-based repayment plans. Let me explain. Through an income-based repayment plan, you can call your loan servicing company that handles your student loan. And if you're in deferment or you have an existing income based repayment plan and offer them a monthly payment that's affordable to you and you work with them, oftentimes we see them put a much, much lower payment on the payment, especially if it's deferment or you're not making payments. So that is a tool we use quite often, frankly. We've had situations where people have had $70,000, $80,000 of student loans. Specifically, I'm thinking of one where we negotiated a $79 payment. So instead of using 400 and some dollars per month as a payment, we use $79 per month, and we're able to get that person into a home. And by the way, we just looked at their equity, and that was a little over a year ago, and they've increased over $100,000 in equity in their home. And that's a very specific scenario that we saw. And so that was someone who was previously told they could not buy a home because of their student loans. And now they have more equity in the last 12 to 14 months than their student loans are as far as a total balance. So it's remarkable what's possible when you look at building equity in real estate and get that process started opposed to paying rent. And so it's something we're passionate about because so often there's misinformation out there about what's possible with student loans. A lot of people have been told for years that the government's going to forgive it. That's yet to be seen. And there's conversation, obviously, of smaller amounts being forgiven, possibly. However, getting that income-based repayment plan, it's never too soon to start that, and it's never too soon to begin the process of becoming a homeowner and building equity for yourself as opposed to paying rent. I always tell people, you're paying someone's mortgage, you're paying your landlord's mortgage, or you're paying your own. And it's up to you to decide what you'd like to do. And so take charge of that situation. I would encourage you to look into some of these possibilities, to call us for updated information. These underwriting guidelines, they do change quite often. And so give us a call and we can walk you through this process and help you get pointed in the right direction on it for your specific situation. I hope today has been informative to you. So often we see people that, didn't think they could purchase a home and they're enlightened to see that there's a way to that end. And so we are so grateful to be able to help you today. If you found this information helpful, drop a like below. Again, this is Brent Starts with Lessons in Lending, and we'll see you on the next video.